Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha from Martha Is. Today I am doing a tag video. I've never done one of these before, but I saw this going around and thought it looked kind of fun. So today's video is the mid-year book Freakout tag. I don't actually know who started it. I think it's been going on for a little while, so if I can find the link to the person who created it, I will put that in the description box down below. But essentially I have 14 questions and I will also put those in the description box down below if you would like to do it. I know it's a tag video, but I don't really believe in like actually tagging people and only doing it if you've been tagged. So if you think it looks fun, do it, and the questions are in the description box. So let's get started. So what is the best book that you've read so far in 2020? That, for me, is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. So I read this, I think, back in February. I think I had had really bad flu and, not coronavirus. And, yeah, and came out of it just needing something light, like I was in such a reading rut. And I read this in a day and absolutely flipping loved it. So I think this is probably like my second or third romance that I've read since like December, and it's converting me, guys. It's really converting me to romance. Never thought I'd be converted to romance, but yeah, it's about Stella, who is an autistic woman, and she decides that she needs to learn how to be good at sex. So she hires Michael, who is an escort, to teach her how to be good at sex, and fun ensues. And there's lots of sex. It's super steamy, super romantic, and I flipping loved it and have been like throwing it at everyone I know since. So that is definitely the best book I've read so far in 2020. Second question is, what is the best sequel that you've read in 2020? And shocker, the best sequel I've read in 2020 is The Bride Test, which is the sequel to The Kiss Quotient. Even though they're not actually direct sequels, so The Bride Test goes off and follows a character who is only very briefly in The Kiss Quotient, so you don't have to have read the first one. So I know technically it's not a sequel, but if you look on Goodreads, it says this is The Kiss Quotient number 2, so what are you going to do? I'm taking it as a sequel and it's the best one I've read. Basically, same as Kiss Quotient. Super hot, super sexy, read it really quickly, loved it. Done. So the third question is a new release that you haven't got around to reading yet. So I am going to be super obvious and go with The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I know that this is everywhere, so that should come as no surprise. I'm not being particularly inventive here, but yeah, it's everywhere, and I was getting massive FOMO, so I bought it. It's not completely out of nowhere. I read The Mothers and really enjoyed it, so I was looking forward to reading this, but definitely the choice to buy it a couple of weeks ago was driven out of everyone is reading this, I need this book. And obviously, knowing me, I won't read it for another 6 months, but at least I've got it. The next book is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year, and that is The Transcendental Kingdom, I think that's the name, The Transcendental Kingdom by Yar Jesse. So
I have since discovered this is not out in the UK until March.
Yar Jesse wrote Homegoing, which was one of my favourite books of, I want to say 2018. And I still, I would recommend it to everyone. I think it was absolutely fantastic. So we've got really high hopes for her next book. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. And then speaking of disappointment, question number 5 is, what was the biggest disappointment? So for me, the biggest disappointment was this, which is The End, which is number 13 in a series of unfortunate events. So I never read a series of unfortunate events when I was a kid. I only came to them as an adult, but I started reading them last year and actually got properly into the series. They're just totally wacky and really easy to read and kind of fun and just silly. And I was really enjoying the series. And then The End, and the thing is, if you haven't read the series, it's about these kids who are orphaned because their parents die in a fire, and they keep getting sent to these different guardians, and there's this man called Count Olaf who is after their fortune. So he keeps killing all their guardians and keeps chasing them and trying to kidnap them and blah, blah, blah. But it gradually, as the series goes on, it just kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger with all of these weird kind of secrets about who Count Olaf is, who their parents were, the organisations they were working for and stuff like that. And so it just blah, 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 just kept getting bigger. And so kind of like by the end, you sort of thought, okay, is there going to be like resolution? And that kind of wasn't. In fact, I can't even really remember what happened. It was so just like, okay, so you're just not really going to explain anything. Cool. So I was quite disappointed by that, actually. Yeah, not great. What was your... So question number 6 is, what was your biggest surprise? And my biggest surprise has been this, Africa, Amazing Africa. So I reviewed this in my mid-month June wrap-up, which I will link down below. But basically, this is a children's picture book, and it takes every country in Africa and gives a little bit of, a couple of like facts about each country. I loved this. Like, seriously loved this. It was just so interesting because you don't hear the majority of like, I mean, there are so many people who still think Africa is a country, guys. Like, I didn't, FYI. But, there's so much you didn't know. There's so many facts. I just got really excited the day that I was reading it. I was like texting everyone being like, ask me a fact about any country in Africa and I can give you one. I love it. So brilliant. Highly recommend this. Doesn't matter whether you have kids or not. I don't. If you're an adult, whatever, buy this. So brilliant. And then, so let me put that down there. Your favourite new author, so it can be a debut author or a new to you author. I am going with new to you author, and I'm going to say Helen Hoang again. This is basically like a Helen Hoang fangirl video, because the Kiss Quotient, the Bride Test, I love them both so much. Gave them both 5 stars. So I would read anything that she wrote. Number 8 is your newest fictional crush. So I now have a fictional crush on Red from Get a Life, Chloe Brown. There he is, that's him. So I finished this at 3 a.m. this morning because I could not put it down. And it's another romance, guys. Another romance. I'm converted. I couldn't put it down. I just had to know what happened. But Red is just so like hot. Hot and so sweet. Like just a really mature, lovely, gentle guy. Like seriously, amazing. So that is my newest fictional crush. My newest favourite character, I struggled with this one a little bit, I must admit, but actually then I remembered that, so I read the Heartstopper graphic novel series this year, so there's 3 of them, so this one is number 3, volume 3, yes, volume 3, and one of the characters in volume 2 and volume 3 that really made me laugh was the secondary character that you don't see very much called Darcy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find her. I should have prepped. I can only apologise. I'm not going to be able to find it. But basically, she's a secondary character. So one of the main 2 boys has a friend called Tara, and he sees her. We meet her in volume 2 and discover that she has a girlfriend called Darcy. And so you just see them a little bit in 2 and a little bit in volume 3. And she's just hilarious, like genuinely really funny. So I would really like to see like a proper spin-off series about Tara and Darcy, because Darcy is absolutely hilarious. Question number 10 is book that made you cry. Surprisingly, I should say I am a crier, and surprisingly, I haven't had that many books that have made me cry this year so far. But one that did make me cry is Illegal by Owen Colfer and Andrew Donkin. So this is a graphic novel which I read last month in May, and I reviewed it in my May wrap-up, so I will link that down below. But basically it's a graphic novel all about 2 young boys who are trying to get to their sister. So they live, and I can't remember which country, and I can't remember which, I did this in my May wrap-up video, I didn't check which country he was from, but it is a country in Africa, and the boys have to like cross the desert and get to Libya to be able to get on a boat to cross the Mediterranean to find their sister. And it's a harrowing journey, and obviously it is based on truth. There are so many people who do that journey and so many people who don't survive and all of that, and it was just horrible and it made me cry. So, but I mean, I would recommend it, and I said this in my last video. Weirdly, I would recommend it because I think it's a really important story to read. Though the caveat is that these are two white men, so there will be that kind of overlay element. This is through, even though hopefully they did their research, but I don't know. It is by white men, so just to kind of caveat that. But it made me cry, which is the main thing in this question. Book that made me happy. So all of these romance books I've already mentioned all made me happy, but in the effort of trying to find a different one, I would say Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. So I don't have my copy here because I lent it to my friend because I thought it'd make her happy. Basically it's a graphic novel about two teenagers, and they work together as like a seasonal job on a pumpkin patch. And this year is their last year, and so they decide to go on a whole journey to just kind of like enjoy like all around the pumpkin patch. So, and this is terrible because I've forgotten both of their names, which is absolutely atrocious. I really did like it. I just clearly cannot remember anything. But basically, the girl wants the guy they're just friends, and the girl is trying to tell the guy to go and talk to this other girl that he's fancied like every year the whole time. So they're on a mission to find this other girl, but in doing so they also are going around the pumpkin patch, going around enjoying all of the various things, all the various food that's there. So I've done a really crap job of summarising that because it was quite a while that I read it go. It was quite a while ago that I read it, but I would recommend that very, very much. Question number 12 is, what is the most beautiful book that you bought or received this year? And I would say it's this one, The Girl with the Louding Voice. So I won this in an Instagram giveaway, but I mean, it is just, look at it, it's just beautiful. Like, oof, the colours, I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. And it came with like a postcard and a bookmark. And I just, absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. Haven't read it, obviously, but it's on my shelf, looking beautiful, ready to be read. Question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I mean, really, all of them. So you can only see some of them, but there's hundreds here. In an ideal world, I'd read all of them by the end of the year, but I think that is somewhat impractical. But what I do need to do is I turned 30 last year, and I decided to do this challenge called 30 at 30. So I set it for myself, where I picked 30 books from my shelf, or actually I picked 60 books and got people on Instagram and on Facebook to vote for the 30. I picked 30 books in 5 different categories that I wanted to read before I turned 30. So I did that at the beginning of the year, and then because I turned 30 halfway through the year, suddenly realised, actually, that's not going to happen. So I decided to do it over the whole year, the whole calendar year. I didn't do that either. I have read some of them, just not all of them. And so then I was like, it's fine, I'll give it my 30th year. So until I turn 31. And I will be turning 31 next month, and I haven't finished it. So this is a really good lesson in how I'm really good at starting things and not finishing them. So it would be good if I could finish them at least by the end of this calendar year. That would be nice. I've got my notebook. I'm trying to find how many that I have left. I mean, it's a lot, guys. I'm just gonna put it out there. I know without counting that it is a lot that I need to read. Where is my list? Here we go. So we had, it was 6 categories. So in the non-fiction category, I still have Educated by Tara Westover and Gather Together in My Name by Maya Angelou to read. In the classics category, I've got The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro and Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. So that's 4. In the LGBTQ section, I've got Just the Night Watch left to go. 1 left to go. In the Read the World section, because I'm also doing Read the World because I love a challenge, I have Desert Flower by Varus Diri, Kintu by Jennifer Nansibuga Makumbi, and Mornings in Janine by Susan Abilawa. So that's 8. Fantasy sci-fi, I've got American Gods by Neil Gaiman. That is bloody long. The Humans by Matt Haig, Red Clocks by Lenny Zuma. So that's 11. And the final one is fiction. And I've got to read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza, Small Island by Andrea Levy. So that's 14. Oh, so I'm over half. That's better than nothing. It's only taken me a year to get there. So, yeah, going to try and read all those by the end of the year, though, given my current progress, I wouldn't hold your breath. And then the final question is, who's your favourite member of the book community? And I'm going to politely decline to answer this question because there are loads of lovely people in the book community and I wouldn't like to pick just one. So, sorry, cheating. That's it. That's 14 questions. If you like this book, if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. If you would like to do this tag video, like I said, I've put the questions in the description box down below. Please comment or send me a link because I'd love to see other people's videos. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.